Hey besties, welcome back to another week of 360 Booth Academy. Bra-ta-ta-ta-ta. Okay, so if you click on this video, and we're getting right to the point. Today we're talking about the pros and cons of running a 360 photo booth business, okay? We're gonna get down to the nitty gritty of, is this really for you? Where have I seen like some super great things happen through this business? Where am I like, God, this is a real business at, okay? So I've got 6 pros, I've got 6 cons, and I want to go over all of them with you today, okay? So let's hop right into it. To start off on a happy note, okay, we're going to start with the pros, okay? So number 6 on the pro list, okay? Now I've got my list down here, so if you see me keep going like this, it's because I'm trying to keep on track, all right? So number 6 on the pro list is getting into the... As a good pro for this business, it is really easy to get into, okay? It doesn't take much at all. It takes very little capital to grab your first 360 booth. And the first supplies that I think that you really should have when you do your first event and get up and rolling, right? You don't need nothing too fancy. I'd say, I don't know, like, let's talk about it. I've seen somebody start with like 3,000 and they still had a little bit of money to play with to help build their business, right? Me, I definitely started with a bigger cost factor in mind. I want to say when I first started, I spent about 10 to 15,000, which was totally unnecessary, right? I started off with 2 booths, and that was back when they were really expensive. Like, now everyone's making them. You can get them from so many different suppliers. The overall cost has gone down some, right? You can get them for like 1,100, 1,500 now, right? There's so many different spots to get them. When I first got mine, I paid like 5,000 for one and maybe like 3 or 4 for the other, right? Kind of wasn't the best time to hop in there, right? But I also got to start at the start of the 360 like craze, right? So that was like a pro for myself, right? Okay, so that was a really good thing. On another video, I'm gonna break down like what do you really need to start a 360 business? Where does that 3 to however much your budget is money actually go just to get up and running, okay? So stick around for that too. So number 5 on the pro list is going to be, you get to be your own boss, right? I know that sounds really basic and you're like, why did you even make that on the list? But that's a real thing. Like, COVID taught us that, jobs are here and there, right? So having the control to be able to, call the shots when you want to and produce income when you want to is invaluable, right? Priceless. You can't really put a price tag on it. The fact that you can go out there and make money no matter what type of situation it is, you can't go wrong, right? So I really love that part. Let's hop right into number 4, right? Number 4 on the pro list is a little bit sexier, right, than the last 2. Number 4 is going to be that the 360 photo booths are already ranked number 3 in the photo booth industry. Now, event industry and the photo booth industry are in the billions of dollars, right? So to be number 3, and they've been out maybe a year and a half getting traction. They've been out way longer, right? There's like an original orc review that's been out for a while, but it didn't really gain that attention. And when it's just starting to pop, maybe about a year ago, right? When we started seeing a few rappers having it at their birthday parties and we seen it on the Oscars and whatnot. Now people are like, what is that? I want to try it. How do I get one? Where can I get on one at, right? All of those questions. Thankfully, being a part of this business, you get to be a part of all of that attention, putting a price on whatever your services is. I always tell people, like, when you start your business, try to be the Rolls Royce of the industry, right? You want to be the Louis Vuitton. You want to be the Gucci. You want your stuff to be the luxury, so you can put a price on it that doesn't matter, right? You can charge whatever you want because it's worth it. It's worth it. If it's worth it, people are going to pay for it. Simple as that. I promise you. Don't doubt yourself. Don't lowball yourself. Put your price on it, okay? Okay, so number 3 on the list is so important, okay? So getting into pro number 3, it's becoming a staple at events, okay? Listen to me, okay? It's becoming the biggest thing since food and the DJ, okay? People want to do a 360, whether it's a birthday, a wedding, a convention. People are looking for something to keep their attention. Attention spans are short, and a lot of people nowadays are content creators. They want to take their pictures, they want to be seen, they want to show people where they are, right? They want to come in and show out, you know, do a little spin, show people what's up. If it ain't no food at the party, people don't want to be there. If there's no DJ at a party, it's really hard to, you know, make announcements, keep things going, keep things lively. Number 3, if it ain't a 360 there, if it's not a photo booth there in general, your attention rate, your, what do you call it? It's keeping people hype, right? It's keeping people lively. It's giving them entertainment. It really adds to the entertainment at a party, right? Because people really are having a hard time just going up and meeting people with the woo. COVID got people a lot more closed in and just recluse. The 360 is the hottest thing for events, okay? So really keep that in mind. That's a huge pro of this business, okay? Moving into pro number 2. So here we are, folks. Pro number 2, okay? Pro number 2 is specifically for special niches, okay? If you're already an event planner, if you're already a DJ, if you're already a wedding planner, if you're already a curator, right? Adding the 360 to your packages is an automatic yes, okay? And what I mean what I mean when I say that is is that it's an easy extra $200 to $500 per hour on your packages. That's easy extra money for something you could set up and man while the event is going on, right? Even if you're a venue owners, I definitely recommend, okay? This is something great to keep at your venue for people when they book events to just add as an extra plus. So instead of having to outsource that service, you can offer it there and again get an extra $200 to $500 per hour, okay? It's a go, it's a go, it's a go, okay? Moving in to our top pro on the list, pro number 1. Now, pro number 1 is what we've all been waiting to get into, okay? I'm going to do a whole series maybe on it or whatever. Nah, not a whole series, but at least another video getting deeper into it. But pro number 1 is that it's a 5 to 6 figure side hustle. Let's say that again. Owning a 360 booth business is a 5 to 6 figure side hustle. If you can add 5 to 6 figures to your income every year, would you? Would you? Yes. And in terms of investment towards outcome, it's a no-brainer, right? In the sense of I could start a business for $3,000 to $5,000 and be making that monthly. Let's do it. Like, let's do it. You get me? Now, let's talk about that because right now you see the 360 photo booths ranging from about $150 to $500 per hour, depending on the service you're offering, right? Depending on the full package you're offering. Now, the average in all consideration is $250 per hour. We don't really see 360s going below that unless they're having a sale or unless they just started up and they're really just trying to get their first couple of events up and going, right? But the normal price for 360 photo booth is $250 per hour, okay? Do we want to get into that? Okay, so let me break it down because I did write it down. That's why I'm over here in my notebook, okay? So if we get into the schematics of that $250 per hour, right? And we're saying to add an extra $10,000 to your income a year, right? You only need to be booked 40 hours. 40 hours out of the year will add another $10,000 to your income, right? 40 hours a year, that's what, like, if you did 4 a month, you're making bank, right? A little extra 10 bands, we can do that, right? If you want to make 100,000 a year, that's 33, if we're getting like particular, I think it's 33.3 hours a month, right? Not even 40 hours a month. Some people work 40 hours a week, right? So if you put in 35 hours, let's round up, right? 35 hours a month to your 360 business, being booked at that $250 an hour, you will be making an extra 6 figures a year. No, it's not hard to get booked that many hours. That's like 8 a week, okay? If you're like 8.5 a week, let's say 9. Okay, so you're booked 9 hours a week. That's, for some cities, that's only Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? You can be booked 3 hours those 3 days and be making an extra 100,000. Okay. Again, I live in Vegas, so we have events Monday through Sunday here, right? So we can be booked 3 hours any day and still be making $100,000 extra a year. Okay. Is it possible? More than possible. Okay. It's happening. It's happening. Okay. And that's why we left that for pro number 1. It's a big money bringer inner. All right. So let's get into the cons though, because let's be realistic though. With all those pros and all those good things that it can bring in, it's also some things that we need to watch out for, okay? And be aware of before we get into business. Okay, number 6 on our con list, okay? It's just something that I want to warn you about. Like I said, it can bring in a lot of money for you, but the first con on our list is that the 360 booth business is a real business, okay? Let's break that down. You have to show up, right? At one point, you can get employees to fill in for you, but you have to craft the service and what you offer yourself first. It has to be, you know, a business to business event or a business to customer experience. You have to be able to craft an experience and make your company something, right? Because it's a real thing. It's not just like a vending machine where you set up and go. It's something you have to be attentive to, right? And really get down into business with. So, and if you don't have that type of energy, you don't have that type of time to put into it, I wouldn't recommend, right? Because it is going to take a little time to get up and running. So if you're not ready to actually start a business, this isn't for you, okay? And I'm just being realistic. Con number 5 on the list, right? It may not seem like a con to everybody, and it might sound a little even like, why is that even on the list? But let's be real. You have to go to events, okay? Con number 5 is that you actually have to go to events, right? And I mean you as the person. So you can't just leave the 360 there for liability purposes, right? You don't want your equipment broken or misused, and you don't want the guest having any type of situations that they can't fix without you, right? So that's a big thing. Like for introverts, that may not be the funnest thing. Like for me, I can kind of turn it on and off because I don't want to kid you, I'm an introvert myself, right? So going to parties is a lot for me. It takes me 2 days before the event to get ready and 2 days after just to recharge, right? It takes a lot out of you to be what the customers need and the attendees need to craft that experience. You have to be super personable. You have to bring out your customer service aspect of you, you know? You have to be nice. You have to be conversing a lot, right? So it's a lot of like talking to people, hyping them up, and just getting the excitement brewing, right? And that doesn't work for everybody. So you have to take that into consideration. Like again, at one point, you don't have to be there all the time. You can get employees and you can, you know, have somebody come and fill in for you, but it is your business and you have to craft your signature first, right? So that's gonna be con number 5, all right? Let's get into con number 4. So con number 4 and 5, honestly, they go hand in hand. Again, I mentioned it a little bit just a second ago. This might not be the best job for introverts. If it takes a lot out of you to be able to handle customer service and converse with people, and honestly, you don't really like talking, and it doesn't bring out the people person in you, don't do it, right? Because I get a lot of business and I would say like referrals and like repeat customers from their experience, right? Because we're so personable, because as soon as we get people on there, we're speaking life into them and breathing into them and just letting them know they look amazing. We want to see you. We showing them how to do it and whatnot. That goes so far in your business, right? So if you don't think that you'll be able to do those type of things, it's going to be a harder business to build, okay? And we don't want to make it hard for you because at the end of the day, it might be a side hustle like we're saying. So you don't want a side hustle to take up so much time and energy from you, and you still have to go and perform in your normal life, right? So take it into consideration. Again, it may not be the best job for introverts. Okay, so con number 3. Let's get into that. Okay, con number 3, I would say, would be dealing with technical difficulties, right? As a business owner, having to deal with, number 1, let's talk if we have an automatic photo booth. If we only have an automatic photo booth and something happens to it where it's messing up, right? It's making some gross noise, you're pushing the button, it's not spinning, that just adds a lot of stress to you, especially day of event. You don't know what's going on. You don't know how to fix it. You don't know what you're supposed to tell these people. It's confusion, right? And if your whole business depends on that, it won't spin without the remote, or it can't just, turn into a manual all of a sudden. It could be a problem. Are you prepared to pay those people back? Is it written in your contract what to do with these type of things in these situations, right? And technical difficulties can happen on the sharing station side too. Maybe the app's not working. Maybe for some reason you can't send a video to them, or the video just didn't record and it accidentally got deleted. How do you handle these type of things? What if the network connection is messing up and you can't do anything about that? How do you buffer these things, right? For some people, that extra stress at an event could be too much, right? So if it is too much for you, and you know that if you were in that type of situation, you wouldn't know where A to Z would go, it might not be the best fit, because these things do happen. Number 2 on the list is that this business could be seen as a high liability, okay? At the end of the day, most 360 platforms are the platform with the arm spinning. You deal with the ideal that somebody could fall off, you feel me? Or that they could even fall on your arm and break your arm. What do you do? How do you handle those type of situations, right? What if somebody gets hurt trying to step on? How do you curve and deal with these possible liabilities that the business can bring you, right? If it's too much for you to think of, if you don't want to be in charge of that, if you don't know how to manage those type of liabilities, or if you don't even want to think about managing those type of liabilities, this may not be, again, the business for you. You got to really consider those type of things. It's a real issue. Okay, folks, our last con on the list, con number 1, our last thing to really consider before we start this business, right, is that the work can be inconsistent, especially in some different areas, right? Maybe you don't have parties every day or events every day like we do here in Vegas, right? Maybe it's a little more choppy and you're like, how do I even reach out to all these markets if I want to be a niche business? Like, what if I'm just want to work on weddings, and weddings is really just through a season? How do I make that work for the rest of the year, right? It could be inconsistent. How do you stay booked? How do you stay busy? How do you make sure you're hitting your 9 hours a week or whatever? You're trying to, whatever goals you set for your business, right? How do you make sure you can do that in certain towns, right? We're gonna get into that for sure in a different video, but I just want to bring it to your attention that is something to think about before starting this business, right? A lot of events don't just fall out of thin air, and if it's a lot of your friends and family, they're not going to want to pay the price that you want to be charging, right? So how do you stay consistent and reach these goals? And how do you get those type of business and those paying customers that you hope for? So stick around. This is going to be the 360 Booth Academy. We're going to be getting into the ins and out, the nitty gritty of starting a 360 business and being successful in the 360 business market and just staying afloat, right? But more than staying afloat is like really standing out in this market that's becoming kind of saturated, right? A lot of people are hopping on the train because they see that this is a thriving business opportunity. So how do I make money in it too? Which is a great ideal, and we want to make sure the people that are ready for it for the long run do the right things in the right order and really succeed from day one. Because people like me and a lot of people who already have the boost, we've done it now, right? We've messed up, we keep fumbling, but now we're able to build a name for ourselves and really get out there. A lot of people started this, just added the 360 business onto their photo booth business, right? So a lot of them didn't even have to go through all the things we're doing when we're just buying a 360. I'm here to get through all of that. I don't know the word. I can't think of it right now, but we're going to get through all of it, right? We're going to answer the questions that need answering. Again, we got more than 50 topics lined up. Stick around. The videos are going to get less awkward and more interactive. I'm trying to be more myself on this YouTube platform. You know it's hard. It's hard to sit in front of this camera and just be talking like this. So bear with me. We're going to get better every video, but we're here for you. If you have any questions, leave comments. I'm going to try to answer all of them because we're small right now, right? So we got the time. But again, follow, like, subscribe. Blooper. Follow, like, subscribe. We're here for you. We want to be a part of you and your business succeed. Let's eat together, okay? It's a lot of room at this table. Let's go get it, okay? I'm here for you. I'm Shanera with the 360 Booth Academy. Boom.